This is a Fox News alert. Just moments ago, the House voted 237 to 170 to pass the $14 billion auto bailout bill. 32 Republicans voted for the bill and 20 Democrats voted against. And joining us now are two gentlemen on each side of one on each side of the issue, actually. Indiana Congressman Mike Pence, who is against the bailout, and New York Congressman Gary Ackerman, who is for the bailout. Congressman Ackerman, let me start with you. In light of the fact that word is when it gets to the Senate, it may not get through, and so it may be dead after all. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, first let me say we're going to miss you, Alan. We're looking forward to watching you in your new venture.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen in the Senate. They're threatening to be a little bit obstreperous on this, and they may have the votes on a filibuster. So we may have to come back sometime next week, but we're hoping they'll be reasonable and take the bill.
All right, Congressman Pence, how do you bail out the banks? How do you give them $700 billion and then deny $14 billion to an industry that's accountable for millions of jobs?
It's a fair question. I strongly opposed the $700 billion bailout, and today with 150 Republicans, we strongly opposed this $15 billion bailout to Detroit. Look, Alan, the American people know we can't borrow and spend and bail our way back to a growing economy or a healthy domestic automotive industry. The plan that Democrats brought to the floor tonight, I think, was a disservice to taxpayers, and frankly, it was a disservice to auto workers in the automotive sector in Detroit. There's no means to restructure what is obviously a flawed business plan, and there's no attempt to address the credit crisis.
What plan would you go for to help save the industry? Is there a plan you could approve that would bail out, or at least maybe bailout's the wrong word, but secure loans, help the industry, keep them in business? What could you approve?
Well, House Republican leaders today came out with a reorganization plan where we would utilize the institutions of the federal courts in this country to do essentially a prepackaged reorganization under the jurisdiction of the courts, where all the parties would be required to come together and really make the kind of concessions that will be necessary to put this domestic industry back on its feet. The credit part of it, though, in the Republican leadership proposal today would essentially be a hand up, not a handout. It would be a backstop where we'd have a private sector investment going into Detroit rather than asking taxpayers for one more bailout after another.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is President Bush's plan, and he sent it over to the House. We negotiated with the White House, put the votes together. And this is what's on the table. I'm shocked that the Republicans have more confidence to put this in the bankruptcy court and to let them run the system rather than the President of the United States and the people that he's appointed in the administration to oversee this.
Let me say this to you, Gary. I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't get Congress and you guys in Washington out of the way, it's Congress that forced banks to make risky loans. You guys in Congress, not you particularly.
Sure.
Wait a minute, wait. The Redevelopment Act of '74, doubled down in '95, caused a subprime crisis. You forced banks to lower their standards so that they'd give risky loans. We have bad energy policy. We have bad trade policy. We have CAFE standards that you impose on these auto companies. Safety standards. It's almost like you guys in Washington are designing their cars.
Let me take them
They're
one at a
suffering
time.
because of your policies.
No, these aren't our policies. These are policies of the American people. We didn't force
you
banks.
passed
Sean,
the laws.
let me answer one question at a time. We didn't force banks to lower their standards.
Yes, you did.
We said no.
Yes, you did. By law.
You can keep saying it. Let me give an answer. What we did is told banks that they have to be equitable in approaching.
We told banks to lower their standards.
No, we did not. Yeah. We told them that they had to look at loans that were applied for in minority neighborhoods all over the country and to treat people fairly.
Yeah, Sean,
it is true.
Sean, I got to tell you,
tell them to lower their
I'm getting upset. Mike Pence.
Sean, you put your finger on the fundamental issue. You know, the creation in the Democrat plan that passed the House tonight of a car czar. I got to tell you, one more Washington bureaucrat who's probably never even tightened a lug nut deciding how Detroit automotive companies can make cars and make money at the same time. We ought to allow federal judges who are involved in business reorganizations all the time to have the jurisdiction over these three companies and to allow them to come together, redo their business plan.
Mike, the only thing I want to make sure is after $700 billion for insurance companies, banks, and financial institutions, I don't want these guys losing their jobs. And this is really important. But you're right in as much if we don't get back to free market capitalism and get government off their back, they're never going to be able to survive. I mean, the government has caused a lot of Detroit's problems.
Sean, these are 3 million hardworking guys and gals. Most of whom watch Facts. Most of them who watch Fox, they're your viewers. These are the people who are on the assembly line. This is the last industry in America.
I'm saying
get off their backs. Are entitled to have jobs. We are not on their backs. We're not going to be running. We're not running the country.